Oh my God. Hey guys, welcome back to How Much Should I Spend, a show where I try out products at various price points to let you know which is the best value for your money. Today is gonna be a very exciting and interesting day because I'm gonna be trying out 5 rainbow eyeshadow palettes. 5, back to back, on my face, on these eyes. Me, who doesn't really love colored eyeshadow, but we live in a post-euphoria world, so now it's like, if you're not wearing color on your eyes, what are you doing? The palettes that I'm gonna be trying out today are the Wet n Wild Pac-Man Game Over Color Palette, the NYX Brights Ultimate Eyeshadow Palette, the Sugarpill Fun Size Mini Color Palette, the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Jawbreaker Palette, and the Viseart Editorial Brights Palette. After trying out all of these rainbow palettes, I'm gonna be ranking them based on their shade range, their color payoff, and their blendability. I'm gonna be doing the same exact eye look for all of these palettes. It's this look right here by Chloe Morello. It's beautiful, I love it, so thank you, Chloe. And just to make things a little bit more interesting, I'm going to be priming my right eye every single time with the NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. This eye will remain with nothing on it. Let's start off with our cheapest palette of the day. This is the Wet n Wild Pac-Man Game Over Color Palette. I have to say, for a drugstore palette, this is really exciting. I've been shopping at the drugstore for makeup forever, since I was maybe like 14, 13 years old. And I don't think I've ever seen a palette this colorful there. So far, I'm not super blown away by this palette. Looking at it up close, I think because it's so chalky, some of the shades are chalky. It just made my eyeshadow look super patchy in some places. Like on this eye, I noticed patchiness a lot, actually. More so than this eye. That's really weird. But there were some places where I would apply shadow, try to blend, and it would just dust off right off my face into nothing. So that's super annoying. I think this is as good as it's gonna get. Now we're gonna move on to the NYX Brights Ultimate Shadow Palette. This palette is 18 bucks. I feel like even though NYX is considered a drugstore brand, the pricing doesn't seem very drugstore to me. If I had one word to describe this palette, it would probably be dull. I just feel like all the colors look so dull and faded, no matter if I had a primer or if I didn't. And then the blending I thought was actually pretty bad. I do love the color story. I feel like it's such a good array of colors, but for 18 bucks, I just don't think it's that good. The Wet n Wild one was better than this, and it was half the price. I am so excited to try out this next palette. This is the Sugarpill Fun Size palette. And look how small it is. It is fun sized. Look at the colors in here. I just feel like even though it's a rainbow palette, it doesn't look like any rainbow palette I've seen. These tones are just so interesting and cool to me. This retails for $28, which I do feel like is a bit pricey, but I think Sugarpill is considered more of an indie brand than a mainstream one, so the price to me seems fair. Also, they're known to have really amazing color payoff with their shadows. They're known for making these really amazing colorful shadows, so I feel like this might actually be a really good one. Sugarpill is one of those brands that I don't really hear a ton of people talking about, but I'm just really blown away by the quality of these shadows right now. They're just so vibrant. I am not the best at applying eyeshadow, I know that, but this just felt so easy to blend. All right, now we're bringing out the big boy. This is the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette. Just like with the Sugarpill palette, I feel like it's rainbow, but in a new, interesting way. This palette retails for $58, which I feel like for the amount of shadows that you're getting in here seems okay. I've never tried a Jeffree Star palette before, but people seem to really like them. I'm pretty impressed with this palette. This is the first Jeffree Star palette that I've ever tried, and it's definitely not an easy one to use, but for the most part, I feel like all of the shadows performed beautifully. They blended great, and I really do like how the overall look came out. I do think that because this does have like some shimmer shades, it really does kind of elevate the look a bit, maybe a little bit more so than the Sugarpill. Finally, we made it to the Viseart Editorial Brights palette, our most expensive palette of the day, ringing in at $80. $80 for this thing. I have never paid, I'm lying to you, I have paid more than $80 for a makeup product before. We won't get into it. But this is crazy to me. 80 bucks for this thing that doesn't even look, like this looks like Halloween makeup to me. Like something you'd find at the Halloween store. But people talk about these eyeshadows like they're made of gold. I am not as impressed with this palette as I expected to be for 80 bucks. I just feel like when it came to the blending, I was really let down. It just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it blended nicely. These colors, even though they're really pigmented and beautiful on their own, altogether just kind of got a bit muddy, like a bit dark and brown looking. And for 80 bucks, this thing needs to check all the boxes, okay? Like it can't be slacking. I do feel like when it came to color payoff though, this was maybe the best. Like the color payoff on this thing is intense. So there's makeup all over the place, including all over my freaking clothes, but I am ready to announce my winner. And that winner is gonna be the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette. For me, this is the rainbow palette to invest in. The quality is there. I think the shade range is awesome. You get so many colors. And I do think that the blendability was overall pretty great. I was this close to going for the Sugarpill palette as my #1, but the thing that pushed the Jeffree Star palette like a little bit above and beyond was that it included different types of formulas. So we did get some shimmers and like foiled shadows in the Jawbreaker palette, and we didn't get that in the little tiny Sugarpill palette. So that's the only reason why I'm going for this one. I do think Sugarpill is a really, really good second place. Last place definitely has to go to that NYX palette. It just didn't perform well when it came to color payoff or blendability. Shade range was definitely there. I do feel like you got a decent amount of shades, but what good are all these shades if there's no color payoff? I just don't think it's worth the 18 bucks when the shadow formula is just not good. So if you're on the market for an amazing rainbow eyeshadow palette, I'd say give the Jawbreaker palette a try.